Game reveals don't just show gameplay, they blow your mind. The kind of game that makes you stop and wonder if what you're seeing is even possible. Here are the 20 new game reveals that broke the internet. Ill throws you into one of the most disturbing horror experiences in years. You play as a man trapped in a decaying town, infected by something you can't quite explain. A disease that mutates people into twisted, living nightmares. The game runs on Unreal Engine 5. Every detail, the lighting, the blood, the way things move, feels disgustingly real. When things fall apart around you, they don't just disappear, they break, splatter, and stick. It's the kind of realism that makes you wince a little. There's still a lot of mystery around the story, but it's clearly about infection, mutation, and how far a person will go to stay human. No confirmed release date yet, but it's planned for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series XS. If you want horror that pushes realism to the edge, this one's gonna mess with you in the best way.
Millions of souls pour into the underworld every day. You're no different. My lord, he's here.
I bid you walk the mortal world once more. Fallen leaves return to their roots. You shall gather the souls that stray.
I've watched over this city for ages, and every name in your scroll of death. Not one of them dies quietly. You, a soulless husk. You can judge my fate!
Swords of Legends takes you into a world built around ancient Chinese myths, a place where spirits, gods, and humans all walk the same land. You play as a Sea Pan, a spirit enforcer caught between life and death, guiding lost souls while fighting the monsters that roam this world. The story mixes fantasy and emotion, with a tone that feels more like a myth coming to life than a typical RPG. It's not about grinding or endless side quests. It's about exploring, fighting, and uncovering the truth behind this world's curse. Combat feels smooth and flashy without being overcomplicated. You can swing swords, use magic, and even summon spirits to fight with you. Every move looks cinematic, with quick dodges and stylish combos that make each fight fun to watch. There's no release date yet, but Swords of Legends is shaping up to be a beautiful mix of action and myth.
Do you believe prayer can change the world? I hope so. Because somebody who's chosen belief despite evidence will believe anything. There's a sucker baptized every minute. Maybe there's something more to this world. Something eternal. Something divine. But only if you're open to it. If you're willing to listen. To be very quiet. Very still.
The Outlast Trials Project Messiah takes everything terrifying about the base game and turns it up another level. This new chapter drops you into a frozen resort, a place that looks peaceful from the outside, but the second you step in, it's pure nightmare fuel. The halls are lined with mannequins, the lights flicker, and somewhere out there, Sister Lilia is hunting you. She's quiet, fast, and blends right in with the lifeless figures around you. The new mission, called Despoil the Auction, is just brutal. You're forced into a sick event where humans are being sold off, and your job is to sabotage it without getting caught. It's tense, claustrophobic, and every sound makes you jump. Project Messiah keeps that classic Outlast feeling. No weapons, no safety, just panic and quick thinking. You'll hide in the dark, hold your breath, and hope whatever's chasing you moves on. Clive Barker's Hellraiser revival brings back one of the most iconic horror games ever made. The trailer shows a guy named Aiden trying to save his girlfriend after she opens a strange puzzle box, and ends up trapped in a world full of pain, cultists, and those nightmare creatures called Cenobites. It's a first-person horror game made by Saber Interactive, and yeah, Clive Barker himself is actually involved this time. That means the tone, the design, even the story feel way closer to the original Hellraiser movies. Gameplay mixes survival horror with brutal first-person combat. You'll use real weapons, but also harness the box's strange powers to survive. Every encounter feels intense. It's not just about shooting, it's about deciding how much you can take. No set release date yet, but it's planned for 2026.
Apprehend these sights. You call for us, and you can no longer return. You can only journey deeper into hell and witness the infinite terror within. The reckoning will be.
Tides of Annihilation throws you into a broken London after a massive invasion wipes out humanity. You play as Gwendolyn, one of the last survivors trying to take the city back. The twist? She can summon spectral knights from old legends straight out of Arthurian myth. In the trailer, we see fast, stylish combat where you switch between Gwendolyn and her summoned knight mid-fight. It's all about timing, chaining sword combos, dodging at the last second, and using magic bursts to crush enemies that feel way too big for one person to handle. The game blends modern ruins with dark fantasy. Think neon London streets mixed with ancient Avalon. It's developed by Sandfall Interactive, running on Unreal Engine 5. And yeah, it looks absolutely gorgeous. No confirmed release date yet, but it's coming in 2026.
Even with your new we end this here.
Enemy of my enemy, I lend you my strength.
We fight as one.
Your loyalty has condemned this man.
Sleep Awake throws you into a world where people literally can't sleep, because if they do, they vanish. You play as Katya, one of the few still awake, wandering through a ruined city that feels stuck between dream and reality. The story builds around survival and sanity. You're constantly fighting exhaustion, hiding from strange figures, and trying to piece together what the Hush really is, the mysterious force that's making people disappear. Gameplay is first-person, slow, and tense. You sneak through dark streets, avoid the cult-like groups that worship sleep, and use light and sound to stay alive. There's no heavy combat here. It's more about smart movement, solving small puzzles, and knowing when to run. Sleep Awake shaping up to be one of those horror experiences that quietly crawl under your skin.
Come along. This way.
This is all perfectly natural.
I am awake!
Resisting the inevitable comes at a cost.
Give me your idea.
Here we are. Fodder, fools, humans. Which is next?
That must be Master.
The God Slayer puts you right in the middle of a dark, steampunk world, a place where gods once ruled and humans were treated like tools. You play as Cheng, a warrior known as an Elemancer, someone who can control the 5 elements. After the gods wipe out your home, you set out to hunt them down one by one. The game blends fast-paced action with elemental combat. You can chain abilities together, like freezing enemies, then shattering them with a burst of stone, or using fire to melt through armor before finishing them with metal strikes. The world itself looks incredible, a huge city mixing ancient temples and mechanical towers, full of people trying to survive under the god's shadow. From what we've seen so far, the God Slayer could be one of the most stylish action RPGs in years. Zoopunk puts you in the middle of a gritty world where animals fight like warriors in a crumbling industrial city. You play as a crew of heroes, a rabbit, a rhino, and a chipmunk, each with their own combat style. It's fast, loud, and full of energy. The story takes place before the events of Fist, showing how this city went from a place of progress to a full-on battlefield. Machines have turned against everyone, and now it's survival of the toughest. Gameplay leans heavy on action. You're swinging weapons, dodging attacks, and tearing through enemy mechs with stylish combos. It's not just button mashing, every move feels sharp and responsive. Visually, Zoopunk looks wild. Metal streets, neon lights, smoke, and gears everywhere. It's that diesel punk vibe with animal fury behind it. No release date yet, but it's coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X/S.
That spark didn't come easy, Ray.
Yeah, a few bumps along the way. But I got it. I'm counting on it. It's mine now.
Samson, a Tyndalston story, puts you in the shoes of Samson McRae, a man drowning in debt and running out of time. His sister's been taken, and the only way to get her back is to fight and survive in the rough streets of Tyndalston. The game is all about choices and consequences. You take risky jobs, fight your way through grim streets, and try to keep your head above water. Every action matters, whether you throw a punch, make a deal, or decide to walk away. Combat looks raw and grounded. It's not about fancy combos or superpowers, just rough street fights and dirty brawls. Sometimes the smartest move isn't to fight at all, but to get out alive. Visually, the game has that dark, rainy look of a city that's falling apart. Samson, a Tyndalston story is coming to PC in 2026, and if you like games about tough choices, this one might hit hard.
It's the currency. You can't outrun debt. You can't freeze interest. You can curl up and die in the street. Or you can fight the fuck back.
The Relic First Guardian puts you in the role of the last guardian in a dying world. The land has fallen into darkness after an ancient relic shattered, and your job is to find its missing pieces and restore balance. The game focuses on skill and gear instead of levels. You grow by crafting weapons, finding runes, and mastering your fighting style. You can go fast with twin blades, stay balanced with a longsword, or rely on magic with a staff. Each one changes how battles feel. Combat looks fluid and intense, with enemies that test your timing and patience. Bosses aren't just strong, they have stories, and defeating them feels personal. The world itself is dark but beautiful. Old temples, misty forests, and ruins that tell their own history. It's coming in early 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X/S.
They're the reason we fight to survive. The children you meet at the camp, the merchants on the road. Everyone you'll meet carries a story of their own. Some have lost everything to the brutals. Others live each day in tears for their families, consumed by the void. Listen to their stories. Help them find what they need.
Valor Mortis drops you into a dark version of 19th century Europe, a world broken by war and disease. You play as William, a fallen soldier who somehow comes back from the dead, carrying a strange plague that gives him power, but also slowly eats away at his humanity. The game mixes sword combat, early firearms, and some twisted supernatural abilities. Fights feel raw and weighty. Every block, every swing, every dodge actually matters. It's less about flashy combos and more about surviving one brutal encounter after another. Visually, it's gloomy and grounded. Muddy battlefields, ruined towns, and monsters that look like they crawled out of some plague-ridden nightmare. The atmosphere carries that heavy Souls-like tone, where every step forward feels like a small victory. There's no official release date yet, but Valor Mortis is coming to PC and next-gen consoles. The Lift Supernatural Handyman Simulator feels like a weird mix of calm and creepy. You play as a handyman sent to fix an underground facility called the Institute, a huge place that's been left in ruins after something went really wrong. It's being made by Fantastic Signals, a small team known for their odd, story-driven games. On the surface, it looks like a simple repair sim. You're fixing lights, machines, and power systems, but there's something strange about every corner you explore. There's no loud horror or constant jump scares here. It's more about the atmosphere, quiet hallways, and that feeling that you're never really alone. The Lift is coming sometime in 2026 for PC on Steam. If you're into slow, mysterious sci-fi games that make you feel uneasy in the best way, this one's worth watching. Soulframe takes a totally different path from what Digital Extremes is known for. Instead of the fast sci-fi action of Warframe, this one slows things down and leans hard into fantasy. You play as an envoy, a warrior bound to ancient spirits, waking up in a world where nature is fighting back against humanity's corruption. Combat feels heavy and deliberate. It's all about timing, blocking, dodging, and finding small openings. Every hit looks brutal but beautiful, mixing swordplay and elemental magic that flows right into the animation. The devs describe it as a game where every battle feels personal, more like a duel than a brawl. Exploration is just as important. You'll wander through ancient temples, caves covered in glowing moss, and massive plains that hide mystical creatures. It's still in early testing, but the goal is to launch around 2025 on PC and consoles.
Gifts returned. Sharp end first. So wear the hide of wild kin for thee, envoy. My arm, my skin. Find me, fawn. Betray me again.
DEFECT throws you into a dark cyberpunk city run by an all-controlling AI called the System. It's the kind of place where every corner hides trouble, and nobody really wins. You play as a soldier who decides to break free, a defect. The game mixes fast first-person gunfights with tactical movement. You can shoot through walls, use gadgets to hack enemy tech, and tear down cover to change the flow of battle. It's chaotic, but still gives you room to think. You can play solo, run missions with friends in co-op, or dive into 4-squad PvP, where alliances can flip in seconds. One match you're working together, the next you're turning on each other for control. Visually, it nails that dystopian vibe. Neon streets, smoke, shattered glass, and buildings that fall apart mid-fight. No release date yet, but DEFECT is coming to PC soon. Fatekeeper puts you in a brutal fantasy world where ancient ruins and cursed lands hide stories of gods long forgotten. You play as a warrior gifted with the ability to control both steel and sorcery, a rare mix that makes you powerful but also feared. The gameplay is first-person, built around timing and precision. Every swing, block, and spell feels heavy and deliberate. You can fight with blades, bows, or raw elemental magic. The combat looks cinematic but still demands skill. Exploration plays a big part too. Each area has its own secrets, from abandoned temples to underground chambers full of traps. You'll uncover runes, upgrade your gear, and learn new abilities that change how you approach each fight. Developed by Paraglacial Studios, Fatekeeper is expected to hit early access on PC around late 2025, with console versions coming later. The Wayward Realms puts you in a massive fantasy world, made up of hundreds of islands, each with its own kingdoms, cities, and wildlands to explore. It's the kind of game that doesn't tell you what to do. You decide who you want to be and what story you want to live. You could be a knight chasing glory, a thief trying to survive in the shadows, or a scholar searching for lost magic. Every choice you make shapes how the world reacts. The gameplay mixes classic RPG freedom with new systems. You can sail between islands, sneak through ruins, or get into sword fights that actually feel weighty. The developers, Once Lost Games, are the same people who worked on the early Elder Scrolls titles, and you can really feel that old-school soul in it. No release date yet, but it's confirmed for PC with a plan to hit consoles later on.
Forgotten magic, and a multitude of adventures to be had. Ours begins on Ijar, a remote island in the northeast. Of course. Sometimes that might not be enough.
Fable brings the fantasy world of Albion back to life, full of humor, magic, and choices that actually matter. You play as a hero, or maybe something less heroic, depending on how you handle things. Every action you take changes how people see you, and even how the world reacts around you. This reboot is being made by Playground Games, the team behind Forza Horizon, and it looks absolutely stunning. The trailer shows a mix of playful British charm and darker fantasy, with sharp writing and beautiful next-gen visuals running on Unreal Engine 5. Combat blends sword fighting, bows, and magic in a smooth, fast way. You can go all in with melee attacks, pick enemies off from a distance, or cast spells that light up the battlefield. It's all about mixing your style and seeing how far your choices take you. Fable is set to launch on Xbox Series X and S and PC, likely in 2026.
Thought I'd get her out there, make the most of her gift. But, you know what it's like when you're young and you have a point to prove. I tell you, this kid, she had it all. The skill, the talent, the power. She was something else, all right. She was terrifying. So, yeah, I knew this girl once who made all the wrong choices.
Humphrey. She's back.
Vindictus Defying Fate brings the classic MMO back, but this time it's a full-blown action RPG built in Unreal Engine 5. The game keeps that dark fantasy vibe, but everything looks way more realistic, from the lighting to the brutal combat. You can play as familiar heroes like Lan, Fiona, or Delia, each with their own weapon style and moves. Combat feels heavy. Every slash, block, and dodge has weight to it. It's not just about mashing buttons, it's about timing and reading your enemy before landing that perfect hit. The world itself feels rough and grounded. You'll travel through ruined towns and take on huge bosses that can crush you in seconds if you mess up. There's a mix of story-driven missions and smaller encounters that show how chaotic this world has become. There's no confirmed release date yet, but early tests already showed smooth performance and tight gameplay. The Vernyhorn throws you into a dark medieval world where survival feels real. It's an open-world RPG built by a small team at Inner Studio, and it focuses more on grit and realism than fantasy. You're not a hero here, just a man trying to survive in a land torn apart by war, faith, and revenge. The first thing that stands out is the combat. There's no flashy magic or wild combos, just brutal, old-world swordplay that makes every duel tense. Exploration feels alive too. You'll move through muddy villages, dense forests, and ruined castles, all modeled after real European landscapes. The world feels handcrafted, and it actually reacts to how you play. The Vernyhorn isn't about saving the world, it's about surviving it. You'll hunt for food, rest when you can, and face choices that actually matter. If you liked games like Kingdom Come Deliverance or The Witcher, this one's definitely worth watching.
seen the winter hit this early.
It seemed innocent at first. There were faint sounds, small taps, nothing unsettling. Then small things began to disappear. You know, people thought it was the kids playing tricks. However, over time, the sound...
Resonance of Plague Tale Legacy takes us back into the world of Plague, but this time through the eyes of Sophia, a young explorer searching for answers about her past. Her journey leads her to a mysterious island filled with ancient ruins, strange symbols, and a curse that refuses to die. Compared to the older games, this one leans more into action and adventure. You'll sneak through dark corridors, solve old puzzles, and face enemies that don't always stay human. There's still that same quiet tension from a Plague Tale, but the world feels bigger and more dangerous. The visuals are stunning. Warm light over ruined stone, storms rolling across the sea, and that eerie silence that makes you hesitate before moving forward. It's being developed by Asobo Studio, the same team behind A Plague Tale Requiem, so you know the heart of the series is still there, just told from a different point of view.